Khubor ka Batisi TV. Lawan Rashapi da ka Frank Motors. The dark is here to rule.
As a parent, I know my child needs more space to play and to learn. A school which learns him better and teaches him better, where he finds live models for love, affection and dedication, where he can nurture his individuality and be a future leader. And here's where I stand. Blessings International School, Tirukurakkundram, Chingalpet.
For admissions, contact 9688 811 8012553412 73730 79060.
Ka Directorate of Mineral Resources Meghalaya harangkat ka Jingïakop lang bat ka St. Anthony's College Shillong haka arpu artarik uyayong arjar arpulai kala Rakhe ya ka Earth Day dagba penlong ya Jingïakop Bapher ka balai shimenta da ki khna puli jong ki school Bapher jong nong ba Shillong ki ba kentup ya ka Jingïakop tho ese Yakop Airong bat ka Jingïakop Shandur Hagani ka sngi ka menteri jong ka sarkar Jylla ka bapet ya ka tanat ka koit ka khia ka Dr. Mazel Amperin Lengdo ka lalongkum ka Kongsan harangkat ka Jingïadon lang jong ki officer ka Directorate of Mineral Resources Meghalaya bakentup ya secretary uba E Karmalki u director u PD Sangma u principal jong ka St. Anthony's Higher Secondary School u brother Dr. Albert Dakar u founder general secretary jong MMA uba Brian D Karpran bat QA.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for bringing us. Lungchnong village and in Nongkre area in the Jylla Hills. I'm happy, sir, that you are here with us. I'm also would like to say that this gathering, this program, would be reduced to nothing if we don't have the participation from the other side of the dais, especially the students, the principals of different schools, the teaching staff of different schools, and especially also from the St. Anthony's College, Father Albert Dakar and his team, his professors, who have been so kind enough to give this space for all of us to celebrate this day. We thank you for sparing your valuable time, especially on a holiday, where you could have really done your homework or do some studies to prepare yourself maybe for the whatever unit test that must be happening these days. But I think that this day also is important, not only for you, but also for all of us who are here. And thank you so much, because without you, we would not have been able to make this day a success. Welcome all of you. I hope you will profit a lot from this Earth Day. I'm happy to welcome my own officers and staff of the Directorate of Mining and Resources who have organized this jointly with the St. Anthony's College, especially for PD Sangma, for for hand-holding this program, and I hope it becomes a success. And before ending this program, I would like to say that I hope all of us know why we are here for. The theme of the Earth Day. The theme of this year is Invest in our Planet. And there are 3 actions that are required to be done for this Earth Day, from now onwards and always. To act, not only just acting, but to act boldly. To innovate, not only just to innovate, but innovate broadly. To implement, not only to implement, but implement equitably. We know that life, there are 5 elements. That is earth, water, fire, wind, and space. But most important, especially in this Earth Day, is to save our earth and water. Saving the earth, especially not only in the state of Meghalaya, but all over the country, there are so much of issues that we need to take care of. Number 1, I would like to highlight is waste management. All of us are aware that every human produces waste. and nobody has ever taken this seriously. Even when I was a kid, I never took waste seriously. But now you should realize how each person generates waste. At every end of the day, when you come back home, you would realize that you're throwing out some waste, one waste or the other. And for the past many years, we have been generating waste, we have been managing waste, but with development, with township development, and with production, there's so much also waste, and nobody took it seriously. And the saddest thing in our state is that nobody wants waste in my backyard. Nobody wants to give land for waste management. We don't want waste in my backyard. Let it be elsewhere. But where is that place? These are issues that we need to think from now onwards. The second issue that I want to highlight on this Earth Day is rejuvenation of rivers, the streams, Rakhe, and all these waters that you see, especially in Shillong. Something that we need to do something. As students, you are young and you'll be reading a lot. As you grow up, we would like you also to think on this, how to manage water, wastewater, especially even at your household level. Forget about at the community level, at the state level, at the district level, but in your own homes. And saving energy efficiency also is something that we would have to think. So this is the theme of the Earth Day, which I would like to highlight. And I would end with a poetry. That's what the compiler has quoted from T.S. Eliot on April being the hottest day. So the poetry which I would be reading is something on Mother Earth. No, I'm not lying. The Mother Earth is crying. The flowers aren't growing with the same warmth. The plants are getting recklessly so much harm. The sky is no more bright. The clouds seem to be darker than white. Now the petrichor also doesn't come with rain. The clouds are shedding its tears with so much pain. The disasters are getting increased day by day. The humans are escaping rather than finding a way.
Lord Nelson, who founded the Earth Day for Environmental Education in the year 1970. I take this opportunity to thank Department of Mineral Resources of Meghalaya for collaborating with our college in hosting this important event. I would like to thank all the participants who have come to be a part of this celebration, and in a special way I would like to offer our gratitude to Dr. Amparindendor for sparing her valuable time to preside over this function. This year the theme of the Earth Day celebration, Invest in our Planet. Without a doubt, many of us would agree that while this theme is appropriate, it might have come a little too late for our Earth. Not that similar themes have not been discussed in the past. The urgency to take up adequate and appropriate measures to address environmental issues cannot be stressed enough, especially as we continue to observe a steady rise in the number of natural calamities. It will not take a scientist to notice our weather pattern is undergoing dramatic changes, and in the past few years we have experienced very unusual changes in weather resulting in flash floods, landslide, earthquakes, hailstone, rain and dry spells, and now an increase in temperature. A city that was once known to be the Scotland of the East has now acquired a temperature hitherto unimagined. The city with a natural AC or air condition now requires that we now install fans and ACs at home in most parts of the city. As inhabitants of this great and wonderful earth, we are guilty of being selfish in our relationship and in interaction with it. Many times we have found ourselves exploiting the earth and squeezing it dry of every iota of resources that it has for our self-centered and greedy purposes. The efforts to protect, preserve, and conserve the environment, unfortunately, are very few and far between. And in most cases, our good intentions only end with pontificating and noise-making on days like this. It would be encouraging to see erudite and scholarly lectures translate into meaningful and concrete action that produce short and long-term results. As a college, I realize that we need to do more, not only in educating our students about the needs to care for our planet, but in taking up projects that could contribute to existing and new efforts to protect and preserve the earth for our future generation. It is hoped that our event today will spark not only conversation that is vibrant and relevant, but translate into concrete measures that educational institutions can participate in their implementation. We owe at least this much to the young men and women who are under our charge and care. I shall not offer you statistics, facts and figures, nor quote you lines of research and study. These are important and have their place and use. But as long as actions are confined to a date and limited to conversation, there is not much hope for this planet, and by extrapolation for each one of us here. Strong leadership, research-based policies, concrete initiatives, and responsible actions are the need of the hour. And as the temperature continues to rise in our city and similarly in various parts of the world, let it be a constant reminder that we need to be on the job doing what needs to be done. As individuals, communities, institutions, the challenges are indeed many and some appear to be almost insurmountable. Yet whatever is possible and can be achieved, we must not be found lacking in this area. With these few words, I would like to conclude by reiterating our warmest welcome, and I mean that in a good way, referring to the nature of our hearts and not to the climate. May God bless the event and interaction. Thank you evermore, better ever, and God bless us.
It's about caves of Meghalaya, or caves in general, but the caves you're going to see are all of Meghalaya. And I'm going to present a little bit of the scientific aspect of caves. I just thought, yes, we have caves, though I didn't know that we had so many as today we have unraveled almost 2,000 caves in Meghalaya. But the idea was to discover the caves, to document them, and produce maps of the caves so that it will be of benefit to the general public and to researchers as well. So that was one of the Sindai caves, Kremrupasor. I will go a little fast because I'm given to understand that it's supposed to be a short function. Now, when we started into the deep underground, we did not have any expertise. We did not have any equipment. We could not learn from anywhere because in those days there were no National Geographic, there were no Discovery Channel, so we couldn't access any information about caves. But we went ahead and in a very crude and rudimentary manner, we borrowed a compass from the army and we tried to survey and map Kremsindai. About 8 to 9 months later, it just happened that there was a group of British cavers who came to Meghalaya and visited the same cave. I heard of it. And so I tried to find out who these people were. And eventually we met up. And since 1995, we formed a partnership, a collaboration, which benefited both parties. So that is one of our caving expeditions. You can see the number of people involved. I think at some point of time, over the years, we used to have the largest cave expedition in the whole world. There was a year when we had almost 100 people in camp. So the last international cave expedition from 3rd to 27th February 2020, actually the last was just last February we had. I have not updated this one. Just hardly 2 months back. And we still have been concentrating in area in Mullion area of East Jylla Hills. Now East Jylla Hills, we have been concentrating for 25, 26 years because it is an area that has the largest and the deepest limestone. So it means that they have the largest, the deepest caves, not only in Meghalaya, but in the whole country. As of today, we have documented, identified over 1,700 caves in Meghalaya, out of which about 1,100 caves have been explored, some of them partially, and yielding a total cave passage of 539 kilometers of cave passage. Now that is very significant in a very small state like Meghalaya. Here you can see the longest caves of India, and all of them are in Meghalaya. The longest being over 31 kilometers long. The second is Krempuri. Incidentally, Krempuri is also the longest sandstone cave in the world. So we have this distinction of having a cave that is the longest in the world in terms of amongst the sandstone caves. Here we have the deepest caves. Again, all the deepest caves in India are located in Meghalaya. The deepest shaft as on today is Zongkhor in Mullion, which is 142 meters straight down. So if any of you want to delve into such caves, they are known as vertical caves. You have to be skilled in rope work. So you have to sail down and come up the same way. This is Zongkhor, 142 meters deep. And that's how you sail down the shaft. The beauty of the underground world are the mysteries that surround them. They are literally thousands to be discovered, hiding away in some remote and inaccessible part of the state. Maybe a very significant cave system still lying hidden underneath. You know, as an example, for many years we have been to Mausaram area, we have documented and surveyed those caves in Mausaram area, but there was a cave hidden away just close by and we didn't know. Till 2015, when a villager from the village of Laisaon came over to my house and told me, why don't you come and explore these two caves we have? And sure enough, the next year we went, and it turned out to be Krempuri, which is the longest sandstone cave in the world. So this is the beauty of caves, this is the beauty of discovery, because as I say today, there may still be much larger caves hidden in some corner of the state and that we are not aware of. Of course, it is exciting to know that it could remain there, undiscovered by us, but for some of you young people, it'll be waiting for you. So that is a nice and encouraging thought. front for the cameras. Congratulations, Meghalaya Jingïakop and Kolkata. In second position, Ida Pika Rilbai, London Progress. Congratulations, Ida Pika Rilbai. In first place, by Meghalaya from Polish. This was essay writing competition. Kindly present the prizes to our You can also see their presentation of their art here. Apologies to everyone sitting on the days. We will try to make sure that congratulations to the in first place, Sinop Higher Secondary School, the Jylla Moksha, Sinop Higher Secondary School. Congratulations to all our young artists, students who take delight in perfecting their craft. We wish you all the best and those who participated as well. E. Karma, IAS, Secretary of Mining and Geology. Brookside Adventist Higher Secondary School. Can you imagine such perspectives from a young mind? Now, of course, to Ning Wang Mei, Sophia Kamei. Congratulations to all the winners of the photography. A team of winners Adson Siddham and Rakesh Kumar. Winners Adson Siddham and Rakesh Kumar. A wonderfully made model of very beautiful concept. Congratulations to the team from BT Victoria School. Well done. Lina Sharma and Nidhi Golshan. Congratulations to the team from Somerset Higher Secondary School as well. Mount School in first place. Congratulations to all the teams that won and also to the teams that participated in the event. I would like to request our principal, Dr. Alfred, to kindly present this award to the youngest team from Christian Academy School. Congratulations to these young students from Christian Academy Higher Secondary School for being part of the competition.
Mother Earth has to say about what we need to do today to better the earth that we live in and to give justice to future generations who will take over Mother Earth from us. So I request somebody to pass the mic to our audience, especially the students there. I would like you to tell me, a minister in the government of Meghalaya, what do you think I should do, or what do you think we should do to make Earth a better place? Can some students volunteer? What do you think we should do? Take this mic and tell me. And I'll take it to the Chief Minister and we'll see whether we can do something about your concerns. Tell me. Come, let me have some volunteers.
We could establish more recycling factories in Shillong.
Can you repeat that?
We could establish more recycling factories in Shillong.
Recycle factories in Shillong. Can you tell me what is a recycle factory? What is your concept of a recycling factory?
A factory where other waste materials like plastics and other metals are taken and recycled and to make something new.
Okay, so you want us to recycle waste and have us reuse our waste. Okay, I will respond to some of your suggestions. Thank you.
We can recognize the humanity of other people, respect their dignity. There are a lot of people who are exploited, and somehow this exploitation leads to there's an indirect connection between the billionaire industries who exploit our natural resources and those poor hands who work for it. So if only we could promote education, environmental literacy somehow, then we can promote equality. We can encourage them to fight for themselves, fight for the environment.
Who exactly is exploited? I didn't understand.
Like, for example, how billionaire industries such as Nestle and all exploit the poor hands that work for them, those who aren't educated.
How do you think that the billionaire exploits this weaker person?
The natural resources, mainly.
Natural resources. What do you mean by that?
For example,
yeah, so tell me, do you have any idea, or are you just hearing this being discussed by the elders around you or in the social media? Do you really understand what are these billionaires doing?
Yes, they're exploiting the uneducated, the ones who are not aware, the ones who do not have help.
Okay, so I will deal with that. Can somebody else also get the mic? Okay.
Could the government make provisions of more rainwater harvesting and conservation ideas?
Okay, that's a direct suggestion. Thank you.
As we can see that schools especially, they need a lot of electricity. So if we can promote and encourage more usage of solar panels, it'll be a great help for the environment.
Okay, okay.
Thank you, ma'am, for giving me this opportunity to speak to you. The model that our school had made of a sustainable school, if we could make that school in Shillong, in Meghalaya, it would help each and every individual to be more aware of the ecological imbalances that we are facing these days. If we could make that school in Shillong.
Okay, I will look at your model a little closely. You will take me after this function,
okay, ma'am,
and I will look at it, and we will take up some of your suggestions. Thank you.
As my fellow students have already mentioned about recycling, we cannot do that without actually promoting more awareness centers. And in Meghalaya especially, we need to implement more awareness centers so that people can have a green mindset, so that they won't litter around. And in schools also, we can have more campaigns to alert people more about having a green society.
Excellent.
I wish the government would raise awareness programs in many of the localities of Shillong so that the people of the locality will have more acknowledgement and wisdom on how to how to save and how to be more, how to use our natural resources more judiciously.
This is not like a suggestion, but I just wanted to say that if you want to see the change in the world, you have to start from yourself.
Okay.
And as a society, as a Kasi, I just want to say that before we blame others, we need to know that we're the problem. We litter around. You go everywhere and you see everyone littering around. You throw papers there, you spit beetroot juice there. It's so dirty. You don't know how to conserve. You don't know how to keep your surroundings clean. You don't know how to keep your environment clean. You go anywhere. I'm from Lightwar, and you go there and you see people just shamelessly throwing away stuff. And I just want to say that before you go and talk to someone, before you go and say something to anyone, suggest anything, I think you have to start with yourself.
Correct.
Take a step forward and make a change in the world.
Excellent. So are we done? Are there any more ideas? We are the government, you are the public. We are the ones taking care of Mother Earth today. We'll hand it down to you, correct? When we hand this Mother Earth down to you, surely you would like Mother Earth to actually have some substance, right? So let me ask you another tricky question. How many of you take your personal vehicles, which means your parents or your own car from your own house, drives you to school? Raise your hand. How many of you go to school in your own car with somebody from your own family driving you to that school? Raise nicely, raise nicely. Raise 50 vehicles dropping students from just this group to their school. Can you see what's happening around you in that road? Do you think that is one of the reasons why all of us are having lung diseases, coughing all the time, sneezing all the time, feeling sick all the time? Do you think that that is related to your sickness? Yes or no? Yes. So now tell me, how many of you would like to walk to school? How many of you would like to walk to school? Let me see. So you see, if you tell your parents from tomorrow, let me walk to school, do you think your parents will let you? Yes or no? So what are we going to do about it? Like that young girl just said, change begins with me. Now what are we going to do to change these errors in and around us? Do you notice, sometime back, the power went off for less than 1 minute. What was our reaction? See what people are saying in the internet? That our government is hopeless. We are cutting power. How many of you understand that sometimes power cuts are also necessary? Do you know that every time we switch off the main power lines across our city, that it is actually going to give some breathing space for Mother Earth? Do you know that? Do you know that? Yes or no? Do you know the kind of pollution emitting from our vehicles? At least 45 vehicles from this auditorium alone go to some place individually. Should we not change that? Do you think we should really sit down and have people like you deciding on what people like us should do? If you want this earth to be in a good position, I think you should be dictating what we the adults do to ensure that you have a good Mother Earth. Now, do you think it's possible for me a citizen of the 21st century, to live the way my great-grandmother lived. My great-great-grandmother likely lived in a cave. But subsequently, somewhere down that line, likely my grandmother also lived in a thatched roof house. How many of you will be willing to go back to that situation where we actually live in thatched houses? How many of you would like to live in a thatched house? Great! You want to live in a thatched house? Right? Where you will go by yourself to the river, actually have a bath in the river. So you see, it's very difficult for everybody to rewind their lives to where we come from, because we feel that we are citizens of this generation, want to progress. But as we progress, we have no choice but to shake in some of the carbon footprints that are actually dangerous for the next generation. Every time you start a vehicle, for you kids, every time your parents start a vehicle, take the car and start the car, it would be so great if some of us could actually remind our parents. If I'm going to church, which is actually just about 15 minutes away from my home, I would be so happy if some of you told your parents to put the key back in the key holder, let's walk to church. If I have to go and buy something from the market, right? Now let's look at the next thing that you yourselves talked about. You said recycle. Recycle. So let's look at some of the things that we ourselves are doing that is going against our principles. Somebody, two kids just said, recycle everything quickly. How many of you take a bag to the market to ensure you don't bring back some plastic bags to your house? Seriously? You actually take a bag to the market, or you would like to start taking a bag to the market? So many of us, very happy to see some of you. Next time, I would like you to participate and tell your parents, Mom, are you going to the market? Here's the bag. Don't bring back a plastic bag. Some of you likely do not think about it. But how often do you tell your mom to buy you a new tiffin box when you actually know that your old tiffin box still works? How many of you ensure that the plastic you create, the plastic refuse that you create, should actually be recycled? How many of you have been to Martin, the dumping ground? How many of you have been to Martin? Have you been to Martin? You know what Martin is? Just give them the mic. What is this Martin that we keep talking about? Tell me, somebody. The students.
Garbage truck drivers, they go in drives and then they dump all the waste from all over Shillong.
Have you been there?
No, but I passed through that.
Next time, can you tell your dad to stop by after school and get in and see what's in that market?
Sure, Mom.
Okay? Yes. And then you can go to the Facebook, ask your parent to help you go to Facebook, look for my name, and tell me what you saw. Alright?
Okay, Mom.
And tell me how you feel about it.
Okay, Mom.
I will respond to your impression of the market. So the same recycling system that all of you wanted to get installed in every city is actually there in the city of Shillong. And you will be shocked to know, it is also a fact that Shillong city per se does not generate as much recycling material as would be ideal as compared to other cities, so that we make that Martin a self-sustaining project where we get all of this and make sure that we make enough fertilizers to sell, and we create a cycling effect of some of the recycling materials that we have. But you'd be surprised to know that a daily garbage of recycling or recyclable materials from the Shillong city is under 140 metric tons. It's still under 140 metric tons. At one point of time, there was no more place to dump the garbage in Martin. So we decided to avail a certain Government of India scheme where we decided to generate or install what we call a landfill. Does anybody know what a landfill is? Do you know what a landfill is? Anybody knows? Yeah, tell me, what is a landfill?
A place.
Yeah, I can hear you.
A place where garbage is dumped.
Correct. A landfill, okay, it's like a place where garbage is dumped, but it is a huge whole kind of a space where we dump all the non-recyclable items that are generated from Martin or any other dumping ground. What happens then after that is that this landfill is then again filled by soil, and over the soil we try to reclaim the land and make it a productive piece of landfill where we will try to grow greeneries, where we will try to have ponds, have fishes, and try to reconvert a wasteland into a productive land on one face of the Martin. So it is fancy to say we must have a lot of recycling opportunities or places in every city or locality. How many of you have been to Kolkata? Great. So the next time your parents take you to Kolkata, go to the Kolkata Recyclable Municipal Corporation machines that are there in every locality in Kolkata. And you will be alarmed to know that a lot of the materials used by us, the citizens of the 21st century, actually cannot even be recycled. The plastic, it emits not just non-recyclable mass, but the plastic also can create toxicity of the land around where it is dumped. Do you know how this toxic waste that comes out of plastic can harm us? Does anybody know? Does anybody know that what is this toxic or the toxicity of materials around us? They kill the fish. They kill any living mechanism in and around the surface of our Mother Earth. So we must take care. And you, who are going to be taking over the earth from us, should demand that we do good things to make sure that you will have a healthy planet to inherit. Rainwater harvesting. Some somebody talked about rainwater harvesting. I would like to tell you that the government is doing something to check and balance rainwater harvesting. How many of you are living in new homes around in the city of Jylla? How many of you have newly built homes? Can you lift your hands? Newly built home. Lift it higher. Okay. So now, I want to ask you, when you go back today and ask your mom and dad, what are they doing to recycle the rainwater that is rejected every time there is a heavy rainfall into the soil around you? Will you go back and find out whether or not your parents are actually engaging in adhering to the Muda law, which says that every building must recycle the water that is generated from every rainfall? I have a well in my house where I ensure that all water that comes from around my roof goes to that well, gets treated, and I use that water to get domestic chores attended to. We wash our cars from that water, we wash our compound from that water, we wash a lot of these materials that can actually use that water, because that water can be recycled. How many of you are aware that there is a huge water crisis in the city of Shillong today? You are aware. What is this water crisis? Can somebody give them a mic? What is this water crisis that Mommy is talking about? Tell me.
There is a scarcity of water now in Shillong. Now, if we buy water, before water costs 350, but now the prices are rising to 700. So it'll be a huge problem for many of us to even buy water, and there is scarcity of water.
Great, so you know. But right now, this young girl, see how her mind is working. It's about the money only. Water, my mother, I heard them talking some time ago, 300 to do this, 700. That's because Mommy has to take out that money from her pocket, right? To pay for that water. But are you aware that we can do something to address the shortage of water around us? How many of us in our homes, how many of you, tell me honestly, how many of you, when you see an open tap, how many of you go and close it? Now, for those of you that are not raising your hand, make sure you start doing it. Somebody has to start conserving this water so that this poor child's mother doesn't have to pay 700 for how many liters? 400 liters of water. We are not doing anything. How many of us see water from our compound? How many of you have seen an overflowing tanky in your house or in your neighbor's house? How many of you? What are you doing about it? Are you just saying, oh, there goes the water? Are you doing something about it? Go inside that compound and, like a citizen of future Mother Earth, tell those people to fix a valve to ensure that when their water tank overflows, the valve will shut automatically. Unnecessary wastage of water. Let me tell you one thing. I'm having a lot of problem in my constituency. But everybody likes to just blame me and say, what are you doing about the water scarcity? Now it's my turn to ask you, what are you doing to address this problem? Why do you think that the government has, the only person who has to do something is the government? But we never ask ourselves, how many of you, when you get up in the morning, dress up for school, ready to go to your schools and ready to go to your car, and you hear your parents say, you're blocked here, traffic jam. Who is creating this traffic jam? Is your government responsible for the traffic jam around around you? Are we responsible? Do you think that I, the MLA of Lanka, should every morning rise from my bed and go to the door and go to the road and tell people, why are you overtaking? Why are you not going in line? What is wrong with you? Why are you pushing? Why are you honking? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? So if all of you can help this government, don't you think we will have a better place to live in? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes. So instead of us whining too much about all the wrong things that this government is doing, this 22nd of April, I would like to request you, the citizens of tomorrow, to look at some of the issues that you have raised. And like I told that young girl, I am available on Facebook. Look for my name, type my name out, and tell me what you want to get done to ensure that when I die and you take over this Mother Earth, we have a better Mother Earth. Do we have a deal? Yes or no? Yes. Somebody mentioned natural resources. Very important word. We are so grateful to Brian here, who just spent sometimes explaining 40 beautiful slides and me. How many of you actually understood what Brian was trying to tell you? Those are our caves. They are our heritage. It is an asset for all of us to protect those caves, to ensure that we do not damage them. Over and above what Brian has taught us and shared with us today, do you know what is the greatest gift of these kinds of assets of Mother Earth? Do you know? What are the things that he discussed in those photographs, in his live presentation? He discussed, what did he discuss? Not just the beauty, not just the fact that these are some of the world's greatest jewels. Not even money can generate that kind of an asset, right? Not even money can buy that kind of an asset. But these are the sources where water will be conserved, where we will create a reserve for Mother Earth. What is happening around us? Whenever there is development, we disturb the system around us. But do you think that all of us will be willing from tomorrow not to have power and to use candle? I don't think we will be willing. You will be the first one to say, woo, I live life. Correct? So I feel that sometime down the line, maybe by the next Mother Earth Day celebration, I will request the officers to ensure that you allow them to consult amongst them so that they know what we do to ensure them that they get a better Mother Earth in their generation. I do not want to take all these things, but I can see that some of you know what we're talking about. You're not just sitting there like dumbos. How many of you understand what this celebration is all about? Raise your hands. Do you understand what these adults are talking about? No. So we missed the point. Teachers who were here, please go back with your students in the next week, dedicate 1 week to try to educate these students as to why it is important for them to take away a holiday on a Saturday and come and listen to people like us talk about Mother Earth. We have to. So sorry, most of you should have been staying home, playing with your devices, or playing or doing what you liked, but your teacher said, no, tomorrow no holiday. Wear your uniforms and come to school. Because you're going to be listening to a minister like me talk blah, 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 blah. But I don't want to just blah, blah. I would like you to understand this concept. And if you have any good things, I will go and see those models. We will try. Government of Meghalaya is trying its level best to use alternative power sources. But investments are very, very huge. If your mother has to buy a solar panel to start using convertible power resources from the environment around us, she will have to use a huge investment. Huge investment is required. If you have to recycle rainwater from your roofs, you have to invest. Many of us, the seniors of this generation, don't want to do this investment. We want to be careless. We want to say, Jane do, it doesn't really matter, I'll be dead, who cares what happens after me? But it is programs like this that bring us and call attention to some of the things that we have to do. I hope that today I just did deliver a speech, but I was able to drive home some important messages. God bless you. Long live Mother Earth. Kublai, Mathila, Jai Hind.